They're going to do something much more subtle and much more subversive and much more calculated and complex, which is they're going to try to skin suit this movement. It's like an alien invasion. One way the aliens could win is they could come down in spaceships with tentacles and all the rest, and they could declare war on humanity. But what happens when the aliens land in a flying saucer with the tentacles and 100 eyes? What happens when they declare war on humanity? They bind all of humanity together against the aliens. So the sophisticated aliens will do something more sophisticated. They do the invasion of the body snatchers. They look like people. They act like people. They're not people. And whether it's invasion of the body snatchers or they live, whatever, pick your poison, they look just close enough to people that they could slowly but surely capture the decision-making institutions, taste-making institutions, and then they influence the masses to become complacent in their slavery. This is always the track that the political class will take. They did it with the Tea Party movement. They did it with MAGA. Eventually, they stopped fighting Trump and they acquiesced, or they appeared to acquiesce, and they filled up Trump's White House. They filled up Mar-a-Lago. They filled up the cabinet. And they put on the MAGA hat, and they started swearing like Trump, and they started talking like Trump. And then they slowly but surely brought us back to establishment conservatism. Hence why this year, what did we get? Corporate tax cuts, bombing Iran, no mass deportations. We're actually protecting the illegals who work on farms. They're going to protect Jeffrey Epstein and all his clients. It's because they did a subversive strategy. And they're doing the same thing with America First. And if you pay close attention, this was the whole Tucker Carlson MO. He brought me on the show, wrapped his arms around me and said, hey, look, I'm going to listen to this kid who's got all these problems. And ever since we did the interview, he goes on every other show and says, I tried to talk him in off the ledge and get him to stop being an anti-Semite. He hates women because he's afraid of women. I tried to get him to stop hating Jews, but I failed. I know the white replacement is happening, but I'm not saying it's a bad thing. White identity is the only thing that can ruin America. He went around telling people that the whole purpose of the interview was to get me to talk, so I made myself look bad. He could give me a platform, earn the credibility from my audience, and then pitch something that looks the same but is ever so subtly different, which goes something like this. Jews are not the problem. It is neocons, and especially evangelical Christians. Non-white immigration isn't the problem. It is just mass migration in general, and we should have a colorblind meritocracy. Women aren't the problem. It's all of these culture and gender wars.
I think we all saw, just to chirp in, Nick is completely right. We all saw what Tucker Carlson was trying to do. I think he was trying to kind of pander to the gropers and Nick's following to try and get them on side with him too. I think if Nick wasn't as popular, or even like slightly not as popular, then Tucker Carlson wouldn't have interviewed him. I think it was all just to try and take advantage of Nick's publicity and follow him, which is good that Nick is exposing.
All this other stuff that's happening. A subtle little difference. And this is what they're going to play on repeat in 2026. They're going to try to destroy my credibility and say, oh, well, I'm a freak. I'm a hater. I'm actually a horrible human being. I'm actually an anti-Semite. It's these other people that are pushing something constructive. Fuentes wants to burn it all down. These guys want to build everything up. Fuentes is a real racist. These guys have their criticisms about black crime, but they want a colorblind meritocracy. This is going to be the conceit going forward. This is how they will defang and neutralize the groypers. They're going to offer a moderate option. It is going to look and sound like me, but on the fundamentals, it's going to be completely different. They will not affirm the reality and centrality of race. They will not talk about our Jewish mafia that is running the fucking planet. They're not going to talk about feminism in and of itself being the problem. They'll say it's affluent white female liberals, but they'll never say it's feminism in itself, which is actually the root of all evil. And they will pitch something. Like I said, they might say, like Tucker did, retard and faggot, and they might make some gesture towards 13-50 and some of this humor. They'll do some insinuation about conspiracy theories or Jews, but they will always bring it back home to, what about those good Jews? But race isn't actually meaningful. The speech about blood guilt, etc., that is going to be the playbook. And so I don't know if they'll kill me in 2026. I don't know what they're cooking up for me, what they have in store for me. But in 2026, that is the year where they're going to try to strike at the head, the sheep scatter, and they're going to try to corral them back into slavery incorporated with some kind of groyper veneer. That's going to be the playbook. You can take that to the bank. They're already playing it. They've already been playing it. And that was the 1-2 punch of Tucker and Piers Morgan. Bring me onto the show, making of a murderer. Let's get a glimpse into the twisted mind of Nick Fuentes and show everybody how evil he is and how anyone could follow him. Then bring him on Piers Morgan to reveal the real Nick Fuentes that loves Hitler and this, that, and the other.
I was thinking about this the other day, guys. Do you think this was planned between Tucker Carlson and Piers Morgan? I think at least after the interview with Tucker Carlson, and then obviously a bit later on he had the interview with Piers Morgan, he definitely spoke to Piers Morgan and told him to have Nick on. I think it was all planned by them.
That's the MO. I would add one final thing, and then we'll move on. Here's the biggest play. In the end, where all of this is headed is J.D. Vance for president in 2028. That is the lead, which they have buried. As quickly as they got J.D. Vance in the vice presidency nomination last year, they want to get him in the Oval Office in 2028.
Stay base. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.